Hey y'all, Bridget Bartlett here. I am the local business marketing, training, and support specialist with Builderall. And today, what I'm going to do is actually just give you some little helpful tips to help you when you are adding text to an image. Okay, if you see this image right here, it has a lot of different colors. And so if I was to put black text or white text or basically any type of one color text on this panel, it would be washed out. And that is the very last thing that we want to do because obviously it's a headline. We want them to notice the headline before the image, okay? So to get started, it looks like Jim is here today. Hello, Jim. Welcome. So to get started, obviously, the very first thing that we need is our color palettes. Okay, I preach about this all the time. Ray's here from Tampa. Hello, Ray. So I preach about having your color palettes ready all the time because it's so important to remain congruent throughout your whole funnel. Okay, you may think, well, purple's purple. If it's a little off, it's not that big of a deal, but it actually is because it will definitely, our brains are working even when the front of our mind is not working, right? So your subconscious might notice, hey, that purple's off, but maybe you don't even know that the purple's off, but yet when you look at the website, it just feels like it's not professional. It's not congruent, okay? So the first thing that I want to do, if I'm creating this website for a pizza shop, first thing I want to do is Google popular color palettes for pizza shops or pizza restaurants. Okay, so I actually Googled that exact thing, and I came to this color palette here. Now, hex codes, that's what you need. You need to get the list of hex codes that you're going to use. All right, so this actually came up here as popular color palettes for a pizza shop. You see it says pizza place, 3D branding, and then here are the hex codes, and then here are the RGB codes. Okay, it just depends on whatever you're using. We can actually use both. So what I like to do is before I even start a project, I just like to pull up my little notepad here. And I want to just write down my colors. Okay, so I'm going to say yellow, and then I'm going to say pale yellow. Let's see, pale yellow. You may be thinking, what does this have to do with text? But I'm getting ready to show you. And we'll say red. And we'll say, I don't know what color that is, maybe brownish. Here, I'll even write brownish so that I remember. And we'll just say, I don't know, what's that, mauve maybe? Is that a mauve color? And then we'll just say, let's see, green. All right. So now I just want to copy this first hex code. Once you get all of this organized, when you're starting a project, it makes it so easy. I'm going to show you how. Okay, so now we have the first hex code here. I'm just gonna do Control C to copy. I'm gonna pull back my my little cheat sheet here. This is the pale yellow color, so I'm gonna go ahead and add that there. We got the red here, so I'm just gonna copy, pull up my cheat sheet. We're gonna get the red. And then this brownish color, whatever we're calling that, I'm going to copy that. Let me go to my cheat sheet, paste, and we have two more colors here. So let me copy those, put them on here. And then, of course, we have this green color. You all know if you've barely seen any of my videos, you know that I absolutely hate green. But again, if this is my client, it's not about what I like, it's about what's best for the client. So, okay, so now I have that. And now what I really need to do, since I have these colors, is I also need to choose a text that I want to use, okay? You can upload your fonts here if you have some custom fonts you want to use, or you can choose from the drop down. Now, this is a great option to have. However, I do not like to use the global fonts, okay? And this is what prompted me. I'm building out a huge project right now that um, it's basically a marketing campaign worth millions of dollars, okay? This is the biggest project I've ever worked on in my life. So as I'm going through this project, I'm thinking, I really want to. I created these really cool custom texts, but it's a lot of steps to have to recreate each one. So that's why today I was like, I really need to show my group how to do this. Okay, so I'm going to choose this Roboto, I think is what it's called. So let me just write it down here. Okay, so this is the text I'm going to use. So I'm going to choose Roboto. And then if you notice on here, it says H1, H2, H3, H4, all the way down to paragraph, okay? So what you basically, all it means, this really has to do with like search engines and, optimization, things like that. But basically, to put it simply, H1 is the largest, and then paragraph is the smallest, okay? So let's actually type in H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, and then we'll say H6 and paragraph. Okay, so basically what I'm doing is recreating this right here, but I'm putting it on my cheat sheet because I want to stay congruent, but I want to use neutral text. Okay, so just so you understand. Now, for my H1 titles, I usually like to make them about 60 on desktop, about 40 on mobile. Okay, so and then for the H2 title, it needs to be smaller, so I might do 50, and then I might do 30. Now, these numbers are not written in stone. You really have to play with it. It depends on your website, but for the most part, it's going to be fairly the same. Okay, so I'm going to choose like 25. Basically, I'm just going to go down this list here. We'll say 40. We'll say 20 here. I usually don't use the H5 text, but just for the sake of this training, we'll go ahead and add these here. Now, when it comes to like the mobile one, I don't really like to be less than like 15 on mobile. So I don't even like to say that these are going to be predefined, but again, for the sake of this training, we'll just say 18, and then we'll say 30 here, and then we'll say 16. Okay, and then for the paragraph text, I like to do about 15 on mobile and 20 on, well, really about 18, I guess. So we'll say paragraph is going to be 18 on desktop, and we'll say 15 on mobile. Okay. So now that we have a plan, okay, you guys are going to see why I did this. There is a method to my madness, okay? So Jim says, I hate green, coming from the lady that owns a lawn care business. Jim, that might be why I hate green, because when I have to build out that brand, it's like I have to use the green. And then, something else too, all of the Builderall default buttons, and I'm so glad that they are. I just want to show you the default buttons. They're all green. And like I said, I'm really glad that they are because it makes it really noticeable to me that I need to change that button. But it reminds me every time I pull in a button how much I hate green. So yeah, that could be why, Joe, why I hate green. I'm sick of it. Unless it's money. I like money. I'm cool with that. Okay, so I wanted to share with you, though, another popular website that I like to use to get hex colors and maybe some color ideas is colorhunt.co. It's a really cool website. You can just type in, like let's say I wanted to do like a blue color scheme. That was my my color. You could come here and find all of the color schemes that have different shades of blue in them that you can choose from. So that's just a website that I like to use. So I'm going to close out of here. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is we need to add some text. Now, when you add text, it's going to be the global, okay? Because that's the easiest. If you set the global fonts, it pulls it in as a global, okay? So this is actually the H1 title. But what I want to do is change this to neutral, okay? The reason I like neutral is because when you go to mobile to optimize, well, first of all, I can make this title whatever I want to, whatever color, whatever style, whatever I want, as a neutral text, and it doesn't affect any of the other H1 titles on my website. But if I change the global font, I have to change it here, whether it's desktop or mobile, okay? So when I go to mobile, like I was saying, mobile's kind of tricky because, just to show you, if you go here, you'll see that if you right-click, let me minimize this. If you right-click, like say this didn't make any sense on mobile, it was just too large, it's global, so I have no option here to adjust the size, okay? But if I go to the neutral, so I'm going to highlight, I'm going to go to, we'll just go to neutral H1 heading. I can change it to the font that I want. So we chose Roboto. And then I'm going to make it, let me check my cheat sheet because that's what we always want to do. So Roboto, and this is the H1 heading, and I'm on desktop, so I'm going to make it 60. Okay, so Roboto and 60. And you can adjust the line height as well. I typically like to choose 1. However, if you're doing like a long sales letter or something like that on your page, it is nice to have the ability to add more space in between the lines. Okay, so it is cool that we have the ability to change that. So let's go ahead and make this bold. And here's another thing that I like to do. Okay, so if you notice here, it's still, you know, it's black. We can't hardly see it at all. I mean, what good's a headline you can't see, right? So maybe we want to make that white. So we'll make the text white, and let's look at it. Still washed out, right? So we can highlight that. Here is one of the first things that I try when I'm playing around with the text, okay? I always want to go to the insert text shadow. And you can change the shadow to be horizontal or vertical. But I actually, when I'm trying to highlight all the text, I like to do like a 2 or 3, and then I do very black when it's on with the white text. Okay, so I'm going to click select, and I'm going to notice here, like you already see that it looks a lot better. It's more noticeable now. But what if it still doesn't look great? What if the color that I want to use is one of my branded colors? So let's see. What if it was actually like a darker color that I wanted to use, but I wanted it to stand out, like maybe this mauve color here? What if this was the color? So let's change this text now. We'll change the color to mauve. So I'm going to go to more colors. And here's the thing with this. You always need to have this pound sign when you add the hex code. And then for it to stick, you need to click outside the box, and then you'll see that it changes that color there. Okay. Now this highlight color is the color that it's going to be when you highlight over the text. So you could actually change that as well. So if I actually want it to be green, something like that. Okay. But I want to just have this be my text color. Okay, so now you can see, we can't see that at all, right? That's really hard to see. Again, what's the point of having the title with your branded color if no one can see it? So here's something you can do. You can actually add shadow or, you know, a background to the text, okay? So what I want to do is I want to go use another branded color, all right? But I want to use a lighter one, okay? I don't want to use this bold because that bold yellow color, because it might clash a little bit. So I'm going to try this pale yellow color. So I'm going to go back to my text, and I'm going to highlight. I'm going to add some background color here. So I'm going to go to more colors. I'm going to paste my hex code here, and you'll see now it is that pale yellow color. So now you see that we do see the text a lot better, okay? But see how there's like, it kind of cuts it off, kind of looks janky. So what I'm going to do is just go to the end. I'm going to add 2 spaces with the space bar. Then I'm going to go before the first letter, then I'm going to add 2 spaces there as well. Okay, so now it's already looking much, much better. Now, I'm going to squeeze this in just a little bit because I want to minimize the space there. And let me just put a title. We'll go ahead and add, this is the best pizza in the world. Okay, so let me click out of there. Let's see here. Okay, so now you can see we have a little bit of dimension, and you can see that stands out much, much better. But here's the thing. Now, that didn't take us that long, okay? But let's go ahead and add a different title, okay? So let's go to elements, and maybe we want to do an H2 title because we want to add some keywords in there with the location. Okay, so let me, first thing we want to do, change this to neutral. So I'm going to go down, we'll do H2 neutral. And then I'm going to add, we're going to change this to Roboto. And then I'm going to change the size. And remember, we had our cheat sheet here. So the size that we want for our H2 title is going to be 50. And then the mobile would be 30. So let's go ahead and just change this to 50. So I'm going to go to 50. It might be too big, actually, but we'll play around and see. Okay. I do think it is 50. So here's the thing. If you're playing around with it and you think, okay, yeah, I think that's a little bit too big, go right away. Okay, now keep in mind, what I'm showing you, you want to do the very first, like this is, okay, I've got the font I want to use, I have the brand color I want to use, I'm right now on the first fold of my website, okay? These are the things that you want to figure out before you ever continue on, all right? Are these sizes that you want to use and these colors, all right? It's so, so important when it comes to making your website look professional or like an amateur, all right? So let's go ahead. We'll change that to 40. So let me change on my cheat sheet that we're actually going to make this 40. Then we probably want this to be 35. So we'll just go ahead and change all the way down. And then we'll make this maybe 28. And then this would be like maybe 23. And then this would be maybe 20. Okay. And then, of course, we can adjust mobile once we get there. All right, so I just wanted to remind you that definitely make sure that you're keeping a note of that. All right, so we decided on 40. The line height, we will make 1. And let's go ahead. Since it's hard to see, we want to change the text. But let's see what color we want to change the text to. So let's make this one a darker text with a lighter background. Okay, so let's choose this red for the text color. So I'm going to go to the text here. I'm going to highlight. I'm going to go change the color. So we'll choose more colors. And then I'm going to paste my hex code here. Click outside the box. It changed the color for me. So I'm going to click OK. But as you can see, again, we can't see that color. So what I want to do is highlight. I want to add some color to the background. Go to more colors. Let's see what color we want to use. Let's try, we did the pale yellow there and the mauve. We definitely want to choose a lighter color. Let's just go ahead and choose this one here. So we'll go back and we'll paste, click outside the box, and OK. All right, so let's click outside now. All right, so I actually don't like that bright yellow, but I just want to I want to show you, that basically how this looks, all right? So with all of your brand colors. So again, we want to go to the shadow. Now you do want to be careful with your shadows, okay? If you, it can look really, really blurry and strange. So you really have to play around with this and make sure that it looks right. Now, see, that's a perfect example. We did a 3 up here and it looked fine, but down here you see it's not bold text, so it looks really blurry. So I want to actually go back to the shadow and let's make it a 2 and see if that makes a difference. It does look a lot better. All right, so again, we want to add 2 spaces to the beginning, 2 spaces to the end. That looks a lot better. And let's actually type in some text here. So this is the best pizza shop in Orlando. We'll just say that. Actually, just for Ray, we'll say in Tampa. All right, so we'll say this is the best pizza shop in Tampa. All right, now let's shrink this down a little bit. Actually, we could make it one whole bar here. Okay. All right, so these colors kind of clash, but you get the point here. Now, here's the thing. Let's go to mobile. First of all, I definitely need some more working space here. So what I'm going to do is click on this panel. I'm going to right click to select the panel, and I'm going to go down here to advanced. Actually, let me go to lateral spacing somewhere. Oh, nope, lateral spacing is not here. We want to go to sizes for the panel, and we want to adjust the minimum height. Okay, so I'm going to move these things here. Why isn't it working? Okay. All right, so there we go. Now I want to add some space here. I'm going to use this lateral spacing. I'm going to just add some space to the top so I get some more working space. Here's how you basically play with all these things. We have so many customization options. You can get any result that you want. All right, so here's why here's honestly the sole reason I use the neutral text, and it is because of this option here. When you come to mobile, you have the ability to be very flexible. Sometimes this size that you choose for the H1 title is going to be perfect and beautiful. But sometimes on certain pages, it will not be perfect and beautiful. And so that's why I just personally like to start out with the neutral text. But like Shelly says, if you want to remain congruent and consistent and have a professional looking funnel, to do that, you really need to keep track here with this little cheat sheet, okay? So this is how I stay organized while I'm building. All right, so you can, of course, just here, you can make sure that, it all looks good. Maybe you want it to be on one line. So you see, this is so much easier. If I didn't do that, if I wanted to adjust this mobile on, and it was a global text, I would have to come up here, and then I would have to, it's an H1 or H2 title, and then I would have to adjust here. But the thing is, that will adjust every single H1 title on every single page inside this website, okay? So again, just with great power comes great responsibility. Okay, so anyway, that's how you can adjust all of that. Now, here's the thing. You're probably going to use the same style and same formatting and all of that in many different places, especially if it's something like a sales letter where you want to use these titles, not so much the H1 title like in a sales letter, but the H2, the H3, maybe the H4. You can create all of these, and here is what I do to save myself a lot of time, okay? Once you have created this and it's exactly how you want it, and you have adjusted the mobile, make sure you adjust the mobile before you do this, okay? What you can do is actually right click and you can go here to save, and then here's what I do. I just type in H1 title, and then to remind myself, this H1 title, especially if you make this a habit of doing this all the time, you want to differentiate this from maybe your other H1 titles, okay? So I might want to say H1 title, and then my client's name, or maybe I just want to say the name of the business that I'm working on. So maybe Bob's Pizza. So I'm going to save. Now I'm going to right click here and I'm going to go to save, and I'm going to say H2 title, Bob's Pizza, and save. So now let me go ahead and save my website since I've been working so hard on it, and that's fine. And now let me go to another page, or actually, instead of just going to another page to make it easy and save time, let's actually just add a new panel here. Let's say we're working on this sales letter, and let's shrink this up a little bit so you can see. Now, if we're in the same page, it's no big deal. You can just duplicate these elements. But if you are on a different page, you can't duplicate that. So what I do is, pretending we're on a different page, you go to the personals, and then you go to elements. As soon as it shows up there. Oops. Keep hitting it one more time. Okay. And then you go to text, and you see now I have H1 title, Bob's Pizza, H1 title, Bob's Pizza, or H2 title. So now when I want to use these again, I can just go drag it into my website and change the text if I want. Let's go ahead and add the H2 title as well. So we'll go to elements and text, and let's add the H2 title. So if you're imagining I'm on a totally different page. Now, you saw how long it took us. Let's see how long. We're at the 25-minute mark of this training right now. So up to this point, we created our branding and we created these two topics. Now look how fast this makes this, okay? I can say, this is Ray's favorite pizza. Awesome. Let me fix that. And now let's go ahead and add another one, and we'll say Jim hates green pizza. I would imagine Jim hates green pizza. I don't know for sure, but okay. So now we've changed that. Okay, so you guys see, just this is why I wanted to show you this, because this may seem like, oh, well, duh, that's common sense. You're just saving that. But these are the little tips, honestly, that will save you so much time when you're building. Honestly, I'm like, I can put together a huge campaign in lightning speed because Builderall makes this so easy for us to be able to save these elements, reuse them, duplicating pages. When you work on a really large project, you really get a whole different appreciation for Builderall and all the cool tools. Now, one more thing I wanted to show you though, sometimes you have an image that has like a, maybe you didn't want this. Maybe you're working on a more sophisticated funnel and you didn't really want that yellow flashy background. Maybe you just wanted a more subtle type of background. So what you can do is actually, let's go to, let's highlight here. Actually, I'm just going to click here. I'm going to right click in the panel. I'm going to show you a little cheat here. So I'm going to go and I'm going to choose this color. Now, let me choose the color that I want. Maybe I just want it to be black, but I want it to be transparent. Okay, I want it to be just a little bit, not dark, but I want it to be a little bit, to give some white text some dimension. Okay, so I'm going to save this actually. So let me now go to, actually, we'll just go here. I'm going to highlight here. I'm going to go to my background text, and let me go ahead and paste. And of course, it made a liar out of me. Okay, I need my hex code here, or my pound sign. All right, there we go. So now, you see, well, it's kind of weird on this here, but let me see if I can find another like image to help you see. Actually, let's just move it up. So you can see that this is kind of transparent. So if I wanted, let's see, some white text, let me highlight the whole thing. So now, like, let's say I'm working on a really sophisticated funnel. I want it to be classy. I don't really want it to be the show-stopping colors like this. You can actually do what I just did. Just right-click here, do some transparency thing, get that number, and then you can paste that in there. And that way, it's not, you don't see. This is a lot more sophisticated looking than this bright yellow. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that. That was something that I actually just learned yesterday. I was building all this out. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. I didn't even know we could do that. So anyway, guys, I just wanted to share this with you today. Hopefully this helps you to think of some better designs for your funnel, and also just to kind of get some time saving tips, because obviously the faster that you can pump out the funnel, time saved is money saved, right? So let's see. Ray says, yum, yum, pizza in Tampa. You're all invited. Yay! Jim says, I've never had green pizza. Well, Jim, I've never had green pizza either, but I just took a safe assumption that you probably do not like green pizza. I know I don't. I mean, I would probably not even try green pizza, but that's my choice. Okay, guys. Like I said, that's all I have for you today. I will see you tomorrow for our live Q&A on Friday, my favorite day of the week. And I will see you then, same time, same place. Go build it with Builderall.